So now let's talk about how we're going to solve our musical challenges in this class. The objectives of this lesson are to review the 3 levels of musical communication from our last video, to review our musical challenges from the last video, and then we will present how we will solve these challenges in this class. And we will provide surface level definitions of what these solutions are. So first, 3 levels of music communication. And I think with clarity of this, you will start to understand why we do what we do in this class. Performance, whether it be listening or playing, that's a way of communicating music. Familiar language is a way of communicating. In other words, using words in our English language that have musical meaning behind them, like the musical alphabet, play me a C, Roman numerals, scale degrees, solfege. And finally, the 3rd level of music communication is the music notation itself, notes on the staff and rhythms and whatnot. So what were the challenges as we presented them before? Of the many challenges that we'll have in this class, the general ones will be, I hear music but can't share it. I see music but can't perform it. I have melodies but don't have harmony. I have harmony but need melodies. I'm hearing something bigger. I hear a melody, harmony, and I want to share it with others musically. And I want to read what everybody else is reading in music. So now let's solve for X. One of the ways in which we're going to solve for these dilemmas is we are going to use harmonic dictation. That's when you hear a harmony or a chord performance, usually 4 to 8 chords, and more obviously in context when you hear a song. But for this class, we'll do only 4 to 8. And then you translate it to familiar language first. So you're hearing a performance, one level of communication. You're turning it into another level of communication. That's a 1, that's a 4, that's a 5. And then you turn it into musical notation. Also, we'll have melodic dictation for when you hear a melody in your head or in a song and you want to turn that into musical notation or something familiar to you. So you hear a melody performance. Then you translate it to familiar language like scale degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol. Then you turn that into musical notation. So you can see each of these solutions has the 3 levels of communication. You will have one of them in front of you and you have to turn it into the other 2. Also, we will use what's called figured bass. What that is given familiar language or notation, and in this case, I will give you a bass line. So if you have a bass line, how do you compose a melody to it? That's what figured bass will teach you. So you're going to compose SATB based on a bass line, and then you'll perform it. So again, we have our 3 levels of musical communication here. We start with a familiar language, turn it into notation, and then perform that notation. Another way here of solving for our musical dilemma is we're going to do what's called melodic harmonization. In other words, given a soprano part, a melody in familiar language or musical notation, we will compose the soprano, alto, tenor, bass around it. So we have the soprano, give me the bass and the alto and the tenor. And then we will perform that. And then another form of what we're going to do in this class is called Roman numeral analysis. What that is if I give you Roman numerals, like a 1 chord, a 4 chord, a 5 chord, and I just say the numbers with nothing else, can you turn it to SATB? And then, can you perform SATB? And finally, probably the one that most of you will be familiar with is sight singing. We will be sight singing in this class, which is given musical notation, now turn it into familiar language like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in your head, and then perform that music. So that's what we'll be doing in this class, and I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.